It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 6:30.
Very timely.
Yeah, see, everybody looking. 6:30.
Oh, not anymore.
Punctual. Punctual.
Do you want to call the meeting to order?
Oh. Oh.
Since you're the only officer attending tonight?
Oh, holy crap, I didn't know about this.
We didn't
Well.
want to tell you in case you didn't show up.
It's now 6:31, and I will call the April 16th, 2024 meeting of the Fenton Township Board to order. Mr. Broker, if you'd be kind enough to call roll, please.
We have one thing before that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The prayer.
I neglected I can tell I'm used to running planning commission meetings and not board meetings, so I don't know if I've ever run a board meeting before.
It's been a while.
Anyway, our first order on the agenda is the opening prayer and our pledge of allegiance. Trustee Gopel, if you'd be so kind.
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And as always, we thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Gopel. Mr. Broker, if you'd be so kind.
Recording in progress.
Roll call. Lorraine is absent. Krug is absent. Tucker.
Present.
Gopel.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Kessler is absent. Reed.
Here.
We have 4 members and a quorum.
Hallelujah. I would like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, Operations Manager Tom Broker, Zoning Administrator Mike Deem, Fire Chief Ryan Volz, there he is, and Assessor Julia, I don't see Julia, and I see on the Zoom we have Melissa Lawrence. I assume Ellen is hiding behind her skirt as usual. All right, Tom, you want to go ahead and make the recording announcement, please?
Sure. To the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there's one public hearing for the Fentonwood Estate Special Assessment, during which public comment will be taken. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township's website at fentontownship.org.
All right, with the absence of the Township Supervisor and the absence of the Township Clerk, we need to appoint a temporary chairperson for tonight's meeting. Any motions?
I will move Treasurer Tucker.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Broker, roll call, please.
Lorraine is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Kotrick.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Kessler is absent. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes, if I can vote on it, I guess I
Motion
can.
carries.
Yeah.
There's no financial benefit, no conflict.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, we have an agenda. Are there any requests to amend the agenda? I was going to ask that we have a special meeting to discuss pending litigation, but I think with the number of bodies gone, I will simply wait till the next board meeting. I don't think it's that time sensitive. It's time sensitive, but it's not that time sensitive. And it's bad news too, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want to, no other changes. If there are no other changes, then a motion's in order to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll move the motion.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Broker, roll call, please.
Krug is absent. Kotrick.
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Motion carries. The agenda is approved.
Included in your packet are minutes from the April 2nd regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes?
Now we're up there.
Huh? Yeah, not a lot. 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
I don't know how you guys suffered through that.
That was where they vote for me.
That includes that too?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
All right, the meeting minutes stand as approved, as presented. All right, next item on the agenda are the expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the invoices? Seeing none, a motion is in order for approving expenditures totaling $650,077.50 for payment.
I'll move the motion.
I'll support.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Broker, roll call, please.
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler is absent, Moran is absent, Crew is absent, Patrick.
Yes.
Motion carries, expenditures are approved.
All right, next order on the agenda, we have a public hearing for the Fenton Wood Estates Street Improvement Special Assessment District, hearing on the special assessment roll. This is a public hearing on the special assessment roll for Fenton Wood Estates Street Improvement Special Assessment District. If approved, each parcel in the district will be assessed $9,829.69, which will be spread over 10 years with interest. Mr. Broker, you have anything interesting to add to this?
Other than we'll be selling special assessment bonds to finance the project, so the interest rate on the special assessment by statute will be 1% over the average interest rate of the bonds that are sold.
Do you know what they're trading at nowadays? Do you have any idea?
Since these would be taxable because these are private roads, we're probably looking at bond rates in the 5 to 5.5 range.
So six
to 6.5.
that's
potentially.
still pretty cheap money.
It's not terrible, but not as good as it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's the story of my life. All right, the board will now accept public comment on the following: an individual's assessment in relation to the benefit received, the total cost of the project, the validity of the proceedings to date. So if there's anybody here that wants to address the board on any of those three issues, we'd ask that you come forward, give us your name. Are we taking addresses? Do we not take addresses?
Don't need them.
Yeah, if you just give us your name, please, and your comment. Yes, sir.
My name is Scott Beck. I live on 1297 Victoria Lane, so part of the project. And part of the reason why the road is degraded as badly as it has is because some of the landowners have filled in their ditch and buried a tube with no way for the water to drain off from the road. So when it rains hard right now, the rainwater runs down the road in front of the homes that have taken the natural drainage away that was there when the subdivision was put in. So I don't know if there's any way that the township can help reinforce the fact that the homeowners should probably reestablish that so that this brand new road has some longevity. Should be contingent upon the homeowners to reestablish the proper drainage.
I think you have to look at the condo docs, if there's language that gives the township any authority if drainage facilities are not maintained. Because being that they're private roads, the township doesn't have a whole lot of authority.
Is there any drainage work in the bid that is being looked at?
No, it's just paving,
Just straight paving?
yeah,
Is it a grind and recap?
yes.
Can the township make a suggestion to homeowners to reestablish? They know what the problem is because they have lived with it.
We could certainly, when we send out confirmation letters, we could put a kind of a general statement that, to that effect, that, but without looking at condo docs, I don't know if there's any authority beyond that. That
Probably
issue had
not.
come up to us before. So.
Is the association active?
Yes, it is.
Has it been brought to the attention of the association? Because this would be a general common element
Yes,
of
it
the
has.
association. And they've declined to take action?
They've declined to push the subject. But again, with the road in as bad a shape as it is and it being renewed, I guess
Well, it makes
people
sense.
have moved in since, the ditch has been filled in, so, people have moved in and they didn't do it, but the previous homeowners have. There's been a high turnover in the neighborhood, so.
Right. So it's holding water when it rains, is that the issue?
There's nowhere for it to go, so it just runs down the side of the road. Because the yard comes in like this and the road has a crown, and so it just runs down the road.
Is it eroding, the eroding soil or
Nope,
damaging road?
nope, just running down the road.
Just running down the road.
Yeah. There used to be a ditch, and they put a tube down there and filled it all in, but there's no way for the water to get into the tube, you see?
Yeah. Well, generally, that's not really an issue, but when it starts freezing, it becomes a problem for the road. So I could certainly see why you'd want to do that. So I think Tom's direction for you is good advice. The condo association, you know, now that there's going to be a new road, and this is a common element, so it's under the association's auspices. They need to do, because if there's a pipe under there, it's just a matter of opening access to the pipe. If they filled over a pipe, if they just fill it in, that's a bigger problem. You know, this wouldn't be an expensive fix, but we can certainly, do we have the condo docs, or would we need to have them brought to us?
I'm sure the assessor would have them, but
Yeah, because I mean, we can take a look. It's not usual that we would have any kind of authority on that. We do have some provisions that require that, you know, if there's amendments and that sort of thing. But generally, I would be surprised if there's anything that said we had authority to do that. But it wouldn't hurt to look if you want to bring that up. But you know, what you're saying makes perfect sense to me, but I'm guessing it's the association that's got to have that same thought process and be willing to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, are you good with the assessment itself?
I am. I'm very pleased with it.
Okay, good.
There'll be provision to pay it all off in one lump sum, right?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't have to pay any interest if you don't, unless you want to.
Great.
And generally, you can do it at any point in time. Is that still going to be with sale of bond? Is that still an option?
Well, we've got about a 1 month window with no interest.
Okay,
And then after that, you'd pay interest through the end of the month that it's paid off.
but you can pay it off at any time.
Anytime. You could,
Yeah.
a year in, you can pay it off.
Right.
With interest to date.
Okay,
Perfect.
Good.
Well, thank you.
well, thank you for letting us know. Anyone else like to comment on the proposed special assessment, their costs, their benefit, and the validity of the proceedings to date? Anybody on Zoom here to talk about this special assessment? Mr. iPad, you're muted, so you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You want to talk? Do you have anything to say on this one? You're muted, sir. Okay. All right. Thumbs up. He's good. All right. All right. So seeing no further comments, we will close public comment on the matter. Open the matter for board discussion. Is there any further discussion on this? All right. No? Good. Operations Manager Broker, if you'd be so kind to present Resolution 2024-08.
Yes. Resolution 2024-08 confirms special assessment roll number 2024-02 as the assessment roll for the Fenton Estates Street Improvement Special Assessment District. Divides the assessment into 10 annual installments, with the first installment due December 1st, 2024. Sets the interest rate at 1% over the interest rate on the bond sold to finance the project, with interest commencing on May 16th, 2024. Provides an early payoff option and assesses a 1% per month penalty on late installments. Directs the clerk to deliver the assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer. Directs the treasurer to collect the special assessments and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
We need a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-08 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Broker?
Patrick?
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Krug is absent, Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine is absent, Reed?
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution is adopted.
All right, next item on the agenda is our fire chief, who has his first quarter report. Chief Olds, lay it on us, Swami. All right.
First quarter for 2024. Let's see here, for Fenton Township, we've had a total of 143 alarms, 6 fires, 71 medicals, 6 hazardous incidents, 23 service calls, 48 good intent calls, and 15 false alarms. So of those 169 calls for 2024, 2023 we had 143 calls. So we're up 26 calls this year. Tyrone Township's first quarter, we had a total of 26 alarms, 19 alarms. We had 1 fire, 12 medicals, 2 service calls, and 4 good intent calls. and we are down, we had 26 alarms in Tyrone Township for the first quarter last year. So we're down 14 calls, 19,
Any idea why we're up and they're down?
down 7 calls, excuse me.
Just happenstance?
We do a lot more lift assists in Fenton Township, in Genesee County, probably the same in Livingston County, but they re-tiered their calls in Livingston County, so our call volume down there, they're trying to save money and not send us when the ambulance is already there.
Yeah.
So they've been cutting back on calls that way.
Can't blame them for that.
No,
Did
no,
they re-tier anything here that would make us go up 26?
lift assists. Lift assists have added a lot. What we're doing is we're using in municipalities for lift assists instead of trapping the ambulances and taking the ambulance.
So that's new this year,
Last year too. Last year they kind of like flattened out
phased it in.
because they re-tiered everything, so it kind of like flattened out. Now this year we're seeing more lift assists.
So lift assist is helping someone
Can't get up.
that can't
Yeah,
get up,
they fell down and they need help up.
just like on the TV, they don't have their pendant.
Well,
And
that's
this is
kind
all
of
hours of the
the
day.
same
This
thing.
is 2 o'clock in the morning going helping somebody up and get back in their easy chair. So,
I've done lift assists, I didn't know it had a name.
yeah.
Thank you for the report, Chief. Do we have any board discussion or questions? Obscene gestures.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board? Does not look like we have any committee reports forthcoming. All right,
You have the ordinance
You wanna do the
enforcement
ordinance?
report.
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Ordinance enforcement reports on there too.
Oh, okay. I just skipped right on by it, didn't I? Yeah. All right, I'm sure everybody's had an opportunity to take a look at the report. The first quarter report is in there. Is there any board discussion with respect to the ordinance enforcement report that's included in the package? None? Okay. Now, are there any committee reports to be made? Still none. Communications, none. Adoption of ordinances, none. Unfinished business. We have a reminder, next meeting reminder, April 30th. Next regular meeting is April 30th, with schedule sway as we had an election. What kind of an excuse is that? Election on May 7th. What is on the ballot on May 7th?
We don't, but when we set the schedule, we didn't know if we'd have a May election,
Oh,
so we avoided that date.
it's just in the schedule, so we gotta live with it, just gonna live with it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So you all been reminded, 2 weeks from tonight, same bat time, same bat channel. All right. New business, resolution number 2024-09, authorizing bond sales for Fentonwood Estates Street Improvement Special Assessments. I've got a feeling that has something to do with the public hearing that we just held. I'm just going out on a limb here. Operations Manager, Mr. Broker, if you'd be so kind as to review this matter with us.
Yes, included in the packet is the email from Steve Mann from Miller Canfield, he's our bond counsel, just explaining what the resolution is. It's rather lengthy, so, really in summary, what the resolution does is, it authorizes the issuance of up to $314,000 in special assessment bonds to pay for the project, with a final maturity of 10 years. Rather than trying to go through the whole resolution, that's pretty much what it states.
Is that what you added to the agenda? I don't remember seeing that in the preliminary
No, that was
packet.
there.
That was there?
Yeah, the very last item on the,
Okay.
on the new businesses was added.
I'm coming back from vacation and I slept, so you know, all bets are off at that point. All right, resolution, number 2024-09, we need a motion to adopt that resolution as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Support.
A motion is second, any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Broker, if you'd be so kind.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Kotrick.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Next item on the agenda is a proposed public utility connection peak meter agreement with Lake Fenton Community Schools. Operations Manager, Mr. Broker, would you be kind enough to enlighten us, sir?
Yes, so the agreement is, it's kind of a boilerplate agreement from Genesee County Water and Waste. And what it does, since the schools will be connecting to the municipal water system once it's ready, they have the ability to use this peak meter agreement. So for the first year, the county has estimated their actual water usage in the form of REUs, which are spelled out in the agreement. And they'll be billed for both water and sewer on those until that 1 year is passed. And then they'll use the data collected from the meters to determine their final REU, which will determine their billing going forward, and also their capital improvement fee charged to the county. The school has reviewed it. They made some tweaks, which the county okayed, so this is the final version. And so we're a necessary party to it, even though the county's kind of doing all the legwork on it. And then this will be the basis for their billing once they start.
What is their starting REU, if you know?
It's in the agreement.
Oh, is it? I did not,
Yeah,
guess I was reading too
question about
fast.
that too.
Yeah.
It shows in there,
High school 48, middle school 50,
yeah,
Torrey Hill 21.
Really?
Yeah,
That seems a little odd.
to go with that, Tom,
Mhm.
after the first year, if we see what the actual REUs is there gonna be either a catch-up or a
Reimburse
reimburse?
or credit, yeah.
the county policy is they just go from that date forward.
Okay, so is that anything the township residents are gonna have to eat if it's more over and above what they're paying for and we're being charged more for that?
The majority of what's collected is going to the county.
Okay.
So they're the ones kind of steering this process. And they do a lot of these apparently. We've never done one here in the town.
Oh, and I totally believe that. I just don't want us to be on the hook if they severely underestimate the school. And then the rest of the Fenton Township residents, maybe not in the school district, are gonna have to eat twice as much of the REUs that the schools are using versus, you see my point?
Yeah, it's
You
just,
don't know that. Where did the 80 come from?
well, the table of unit factors is the only tool available to calculate REUs. So that's what was calculated based on a very outdated table of unit factors, which is based on the number of classrooms.
So the school as well as that they monitor how much water they use.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty good understanding how much water they're actually gonna use. So the estimates are gonna be pretty close. They're not gonna be way off in either direction.
Why would the middle school be more than the high school?
Well,
They've agreed to it, so I don't care, but that's just counterintuitive to me.
Maybe about gym classes and.
Not sure. I mean, it was the high school at one time.
Yeah, but,
There's no shower.
Yeah.
but the new high school is bigger than the old high school.
It is. Yeah,
And I think it has more classrooms than the,
well, I think the current REUs that were originally calculated years ago just were never adjusted or reviewed until this process.
Yeah.
So when the county looked at the actual flows from all four buildings, they came up with the interim numbers to put in place until the data collection period is done.
so it's
And they-
based on sewage flow then.
Water flow, water meter.
We don't have water.
But they
On the
have,
well.
they have meters on the well.
Oh,
I didn't know that
That's
either.
how our
Yeah.
metered sewer is done. It's
That's
a
what you
meter on their water.
on the well.
Right.
I'd been told by somebody that they always just measured the sewer usage.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
so in this case, their old meters will be replaced with new meters on the public water,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And that's what, those readings will determine after a year what their final REU counts are.
When is the water gonna hit the schools, do we know? Estimated, obviously.
Fall,
Fall? Both of them?
Yeah, when they do it, it's gonna be at the same time.
Yeah.
yeah, all four.
So, I mean, I think the goal would be before
1, 2,
school
3.
starts.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna be done with that portion of the line by then.
Yeah. I think the school will have their plumbing ready for connection before the school year starts. Whether or not the line is fully tested and ready for connection is a little early to tell right now.
It'll definitely be this year, though.
Has anybody connected yet?
Yes. one house.
One house?
Yes. So we also have letters going out to businesses on Thompson Road that have either been required by site plan or have expressed interest.
You know who I'm thinking about, right?
Yes.
That's, a letter's gone out?
It will be out this week.
Yes. Have a nice sign on the sign of the building now. Actually looks quite nice. It's, you know, part of what we're trying to do is when you have big monotonous buildings, you try to break them up. But they're still big monotonous buildings, but I think the sign helps with that, so. Thank you, Mr. Dean. All right, so let's see, I've lost track of where the heck I'm at here. Bear with me a minute.
Meter agreement.
So I guess, any further discussion on the meter agreement? We're good? All right, so we need a motion to approve the public utility connection meter agreement with Lake Fenton Community Schools and Genesee County as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
We have a motion and a second and a lot of hesitation. Mr. Broker, if you'd be kind enough to call the question, please.
Kessler and Krug are absent. Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Patrick.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Stoffel.
Wish there were more than 4 here.
Yes. Yeah, it's a son of a gun, isn't it? All right, so, appointments of dangerous building hearing officers. Next time on agenda, we have with us zoning administrator Mike Deem for a command performance.
Yes,
Mr.
so
Deem.
the dangerous buildings ordinance requires Township appoint a dangerous building hearing official. We've become aware of what our ordinance says, and we are now recommending we appoint Dennis Miller. We had some issues with some tickets that were recently issued, and as soon as we found that out, I instructed our building official, Stuart Worthing, to identify a good individual to be the dangerous buildings hearing official, and he recommended Dennis Miller, who has 48 years of experience. He does this in other communities. This is not often used position, right? The fact, I'm not entirely sure that anyone currently in the office has gone through this process before, because typically things get resolved before you get to that point. But we have a couple issues where it didn't get resolved, so we've identified an individual. We would recommend we appoint him, and we can correct some errors that were made.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.
So is this official paid on an as-used, as-needed basis?
Yes.
I can give you a little background on that. What happened, there were some tickets issued to the mobile home park that has a number of structures that are questionable about whether they're fit for human habitation. One structure was removed by the park owner. There were a couple other ones, and there were ultimately a total of, I think, 8 tickets issued for different structures there. Quite honestly, I've never seen an ordinance like this before, and I didn't catch that, but Judge McCabe, as we were getting ready for a trial, called up all the attorneys and said, hey, by the way, your ordinance requires these procedures, which, of course, nobody followed because nobody knew it was there. So this is just to meet that requirement in the ordinance. And what we're gonna end up having to do probably is just go into circuit court, where that ordinance isn't gonna matter. We'll just go to circuit court to get these units removed, condemned, closed down, whatever. And ultimately, you may wanna redraft this dangerous building ordinance to something more conventional.
Why would you have to go to circuit court if we're getting Mr. Miller appointed? Can you not go through that process?
You can do that, but it doesn't, all that does is it's a district court matter then. So what happens is, the district court judge, Judge McCabe in this case, could fine her, put her in jail, do whatever. It gets to be a question if he has these equitable powers to cause the problem to be
Right.
remedied.
Understand,
So,
understand.
yeah.
I assume you've worked with Mr. Miller, is that a bad assumption?
Oh, no, I've never met Mr. Miller.
Really?
No,
Okay.
I don't know Mr.
It
Miller.
said Monday Township, so I thought certainly
Oh,
Jack must have.
could be, but
Yeah.
I've never
You've
worked
never
with
run into him?
No.
Okay. So
If
you don't
I
have
did,
any?
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. I thought that'd be in your wheelhouse. All right, any further discussion on this matter? If not, we need a motion to appoint Dennis Miller as the dangerous building hearings officer for Fenton Township as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Broker, if you'd call the roll, please.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine is absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kruger's absent, motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is proposed amendments to the Fenton Township fee schedule. Operations Manager Broker, will you be so kind as to review, please?
Yes, we're, just a minor revision, it's on about the third or fourth page maybe. It's highlighted, so we can find it. Some of the cemetery-related fees we need to update because the contractor we use has raised their prices. Obviously, this is not a high-volume process, thankfully, but so the grave opening and closing fees for both full-size and cremation are being adjusted, so they are $50. The fee we charge is $50 above what the contractor's charging us. In a couple of the categories, we're not in the fee schedule. Previously, grave opening and closings for cremations were the same regardless of day. We've now split that out where it is more on the weekends and holidays.
Dare I ask who the contractor is that we use for this?
Genesee Valley Vault.
Okay. I have clients in that business. I wanted to make sure I didn't have a conflict problem with 4 members present, so. Has it been bid out at all? Do we know?
It's somebody we identified years ago
Yeah.
that does the job for us and
Okay. And the figures that are in here include our 100 or are these the?
What's in here is across the board, well, the spaces we sell outright, we haven't changed that. But the grave opening and closing fees are, each of those are $50 above what Genesee Valley Vault charges us.
But the number that's listed includes our
Yes.
cut?
Yes.
Okay.
How many times a year would we utilize this on average?
2 or 3.
Okay.
Okay. Hard to get excited about that.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask the question if you didn't, so.
And then are the higher fees on Saturday and Sunday, is that just because competition, kind of more people are trying to have their funerals then, or is it higher labor
No, I
costs?
think it's because the contractor is having to pay their employees to work on the weekend.
Okay, but I guess I was surprised it was so different on Sunday versus Saturday. It was,
Sometimes it's triple time when you're working Sunday.
okay, all right.
All right, any further discussion? If not, we need a motion to adopt the revised Fenton Township Schedule of Fees as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Broker.
Lorraine is absent, Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kruger's absent, Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the next item on the agenda is Genesee County Road Commission Local Road Project, Windsor Beach Dollar Lake Road Drain Cleanout. Operations Manager, Mr. Broker, sir, if you'd be so kind to explain.
Yeah, this is kind of a late addition to the agenda. The road commission asked if we could get this added. We've got a significant drainage problem over the Windsor Beach, Dollar Lake Drive area. There's an existing drainage easement, and the ditch has filled in over the years, and the road commission is proposing to clean that out. We've got some flooding problems with the neighbors, and they believe this will take care of it. The proposal in the packet, the total estimated cost is $7,000. They're using some of their allocation funds toward it, so our share would be $5,000 if it comes out to that. In talking to Alex Patsy, the engineering department head, he thinks it might not even cost that much, but they wanted to be conservative.
Any questions or discussion from the board? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve Genesee County Road Commission cost proposal for the Windsor Beach Dollar Lake Road Drain Cleanout as presented.
I'll support.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Broker?
Kessler's absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Kruger's absent, Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent, Patrick.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, any board comment? Is there any comments from the board members on anything? Seeing none, public comment. We'll now open the meeting to public comments on agenda or non-agenda items. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there anyone here in the audience who would like to address the board? If so, you approach the podium and tell us what's on your mind. Nobody appears to be leaping from their chairs. Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items?
No comment.
Thank you. It's nice to hear your voice, though.
I figured it out. I seen the mute button.
Alan,
No
are you
comment.
really there?
No comment from me either.
Thank
thanks.
you. Alan, are you really there? Guess not. Yeah. No, here we go. I don't hear him. You tried to say something, I didn't hear it. All right, I guess that's enough harassment. There's nothing else. It is now 7:06. My current average for meeting time is 36 minutes. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you for all tolerating